All right, let's get it.
All right. Podcast name to be determined at a later time, I guess.
Yeah, we don't know what we're doing with that yet.
If anyone knows Dylan and myself, and I guess that's probably a good way to start. That's Dylan and I'm John. If anyone knows us, which our close friends do, and you guys will soon, is we do gamble a lot of the times, and I would say a good part of our conversation during football season, Monday mornings, are like, hey, I looked at the lines this week, and I already see some stuff.
Absolutely. We're having this conversation anyway, so it makes no sense to not record it and just let it fly. Let's see what happens,
Yeah.
If we're having these conversations every week before every Sunday, whether I'm calling you, Comey, anybody I talk to about football, Jordan, Bruno.
Just continuous, talking about it. So,
all right, let's get into it. I mean, there's some off-season rumbling. Let's get into it.
Probably an awful place to start, but I just saw it on my way over here, was Brandon Ayuk possibly to the Steelers.
I know. I saw that. I saw the pictures of him in the airport when they were posting about it on Twitter. Honestly, you don't like that?
I have Brandon Ayuk on like my dynasty league, so I know, no one cares about fantasy or shouldn't hear about other people's fantasy, but I don't want to hear he's gone to the Steelers when they still have a couple good guys there. A lot of sharing of the wealth.
Yeah, but it'll be a good fit for the Steelers. I mean, George Pickens is underrated because he doesn't have anybody. He didn't have anybody up until this point throwing him the ball, but he's a freak athletically.
He's so good, dude.
Yeah, he's a freak athletically. Freiermuth is still the tight end, right?
Yeah.
And Najee kind of sucks, but the other kid's good. Like, the other kid's a lot better. Jaylen Warren, right?
Yeah, the running back.
Warren is way better than people give him credit for.
I know. They're a good, they play off each other well. I think Najee sucks too. But
yeah, I don't think he's great.
It's almost like the Zeke and the...
I think Russell Wilson, even though he's a cornball and everybody has their fun with him on Twitter and everywhere else, but I do think Russell Wilson's not bad. Like, I'm like one of the few guys who thinks Russell Wilson's not terrible.
I was going to ask you if you thought he was going to start.
I mean, Justin Fields is a freak, but Justin Fields doesn't translate his talent into good decision making. Like, he's kind of like a worse version of like a Kyler Murray. Like, guys who can do shit that's just unfucking thinkable, but just never translates to winning football games. Like, you know?
There's some rumblings.
See the guy rush for 170 yards in a game and lose. It's like, well, what the fuck?
You remember how bad his offensive line was on the Bears?
Yeah.
We've texted a lot and being like, yo, his line gives him no time.
Yeah, I'm not a big I'm kind of an Ohio State hater. So I kind of didn't think he was going to be shit coming in. Just like I didn't think CJ Stroud was going to be shit coming in. And then, CJ Stroud's obviously fantastic.
He's an enigma out of there, though, because...
I still think Justin Fields could be a good NFL quarterback because I think he has what you can't teach.
Yeah.
But how many times did I make that argument for Zach Wilson? There's certain guys who have obviously athletic
Denver fans are
abilities.
making that argument right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they are. I like Justin Fields, and I think Justin Fields could be good. But I do think Russell Wilson is overlooked too many times. Like, I think Russell Wilson in a team that basically virtually goes 8-8 every fucking year.
Yeah.
And now they're going to have good talent. Like, George Pickens is a great receiver. Russell Wilson throws a really good deep ball.
Their defense
He takes
is wild.
probably the most unnecessary sacks I've ever seen a quarterback take. He does like seven. He does like 7 turnarounds and then takes like a 9-yard sack. But I do think that when he's playing, even when he was playing in Denver, like,
I thought he did well.
He was doing all right. Yeah. I know everybody like dogged him, but he was doing all right. Russell Wilson.
How many
not
quarterbacks?
terrible.
I don't care if you're Patty Mahomes. Your team gives up 70.
Yeah, you're not
winning.
Yeah, you're not winning. You're not winning those football games.
You're not winning the game.
And I think that the Steelers, relatively speaking, are like the definition of average. Like, they're like TJ Watt's a freak of nature. Their defense overall is pretty good. Fitzpatrick's still there at safety, right?
Yeah.
So they're pretty good overall. I I think Russell Wilson could make them better. I don't know how much better, but I do think he makes them better.
Well, better than what they had. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And to have Justin Fields as a backup will probably put a lot of pressure on Russell Wilson, which I think is a good thing. I don't think it's going to be like an overthinking thing where he's overthinking and nervous about being benched so he plays bad. I think it's going to fuel him to play a lot better, knowing that if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do, boom, we're just going to fucking shift right to Justin Fields.
I think it's good for Fields too, honestly.
I was going to pick if we were to get into divisions, I was going to pick the Steelers as a team to overachieve in that division.
Their line's at 8.5. And
I know, maybe not overachieve in that aspect because
has
their
Tomlin
division's
gone
stacked.
under 500? No.
No.
Not once in his coaching career.
No, but also their division just seems like no matter how the years go on, like their division just gets increasingly better.
To me, the best
Cleveland's
division in football.
Disgusting defensively.
I think by far the best division in football.
Yeah.
All
I can
four
agree.
teams are playoff caliber teams.
Yeah.
Almost championship caliber teams.
I think the Ravens are a regular season monster since as long as I can remember, especially since adding Lamar. I think that the Bengals are probably the team I would bet on the most in a playoff scenario because I think Joey B is disgusting.
Joe Burrow, yeah.
And I think Cleveland defensively is fucking for real.
I know.
I don't know. I think Deshaun Watson's got a lot to prove because
if he ever figures it out, forget it.
Yeah.
If he somehow turns back the clock 4 years, I mean, that's like the Texans, Deshaun Watson. Like that team is scary. But watching what the Texans did to the Browns in the playoffs last year was like that was the wake up call to a lot of people.
Yeah. No, for sure. I don't know. I have a love-hate relationship with Deshaun because I had money on Houston to win the Super Bowl the year that they were up 24-0 on the Chiefs and Mahomes. Yeah. And I thought that was it. I was cashing my fucking ticket. Like they fucking beat the piss out of the fucking Chiefs. We're going all the way. This is it. Like I'm gonna win a fuck ton of money on this team.
The dragon of Mahomes.
And dude, I'm going nuts. I'm calling everybody and their fucking mother. And before you know it, I get a call from Comey in like the fourth quarter. Like, so that was an early celebration, huh? Fucking Patty Mahomes fucking comes all the way back and then winds up rifling his way through the playoffs to win the Super Bowl. But
that was more on Bill O'Brien, I feel like, than Deshaun.
Yeah, no. I'm not.
Things are out of his. But listen, he's way underperformed. Obviously.
Yeah, I mean, dude, no matter what coaching does, you have a 24-point lead. You have to win that football game.
100%.
Yeah,
I don't care if you're changing the plays at the line.
You got to win that football game.
Like in the second quarter against Patrick Mahomes, you shouldn't. If you have a lead, don't just be running to kill the clock.
Yeah, you got to win that football game. But
we saw that in the Super Bowl last year again. Yeah, I'm sure we'll see it a lot more times.
Yeah, that division's tough. Just right off the rip, if I had to pick a team to win the division, I'd probably put my money on the Ravens just because it's very, very difficult to bet against that team.
I know.
In a regular season matchup, there's very few teams that if the Ravens play, I'm going to pick the other team.
What is Lamar have like a crazy record against NFC, right? Like he's only lost like 2 games in his career.
I don't know, but
they're a juggernaut.
They're very, very, very good. Like the way I put it is if I see the Ravens, I'm going through these games, I'm trying to pick who I'm going to bet on. Like the Ravens, I'm just staying away from, because there's no way I'm going to go against them, and usually they're laying more than 6, unless they're playing a division game. Which if they're playing the Bengals, I'm not touching it anyway, unless there's 3.5 one way or the other.
I made the fatal mistake last year, and I'll never forget this. It's like I took the Lions in a 6-point teaser while they were playing the Ravens, and they lost by 40.
Yeah,
I mean, they got obviously you get down by 30 or 20 something, you just kind of maybe mail it in the regular seasons, but from the beginning, first play of the game, you knew it was just like.
I'm a huge Lamar guy though. Like I was a big against him when I bet the last year Brady played in Foxborough. The last year he played for the Patriots.
Yeah,
I bet on the Patriots heavy on a big primetime football game. Lamar went to Foxborough, and I'm like, Belichick's going to eat this fucking guy alive. He's a rookie quarterback. He don't know shit. He can't throw. Brady's last year. He's going to torch these guys. fucking Lamar beat the fucking piss out of them. And right from that point on, I was like, yo, I will never bet against this fucking guy in a big moment. Like,
I'm still afraid to win the playoffs.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Well, it's like, you know what he can do.
You know what he can do. He's the hardest quarterback to game plan for sure.
And like, you know what? I guess that could, bring us right into our overperformers of the division. So you're saying the Ravens would be like your
The Ravens are just like, at this point, I don't think you can take another team to win the division because like Burrow's coming off an injury, and it's not his first injury. So it's not like you can just like put all your eggs in the Bengals basket, barring him getting hurt. Cleveland is too bleak offensively to really do enough damage week in, week out, regular season wise. And I just think the Ravens are the complete team. So the Ravens are the team to beat in the division. I think the Steelers could surprise a few people if Russell Wilson does what he thinks he can do. But overall, there's no way I would. If gun in my head, I'm taking the Ravens to win the division.
Yeah, it's tough, man. The Bengals get that luxury that they get the last place schedule. They get to play all the teams. They get to play the Patriots. They get to play the Panthers. They get to play all these crappy teams just because Joe Burrow got hurt last year.
That's true.
So they finished last.
But you say that, but then like teams like the Jets get fucking 8 primetime games, and Aaron Rodgers fucking missed the whole season. They sucked, and now the Jets get play all these big juggernaut teans.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know their schedule. I haven't looked at it, but if that is true and they have an easier schedule, maybe
they do.
Maybe you would lean Bengals, but I mean,
I don't have it up in front of me, but I know they play the Patriots and they play the Panthers, and for them that's like, and I believe the Titans. That's like a shoe-in, 3 wins, no sweat. Off the bat.
I can see that.
Well, like you said, the Ravens are a juggernaut, so it doesn't, any, concern the Bengals. No Joe Mixon this year.
No, I don't think it phases them. I don't even know who their backup is. I don't know if they drafted. I don't really even know the running back depth chart there, but I think running back is, unless you have a top 5 guy, it's plug and play.
Yeah.
Next guy up, man. Like, next man up.
It's just those, like, the north or, like, the weather. Once it gets, like, December, it's like those 10. That's Lamar and now Derrick Henry. So it's like.
No, that's true. I mean, like, obviously, if you have a marquee guy, it's going to make a difference for sure. But Joe Mixon never broke that plane for me. Joe Mixon never was so much of a game changer. He was good and he was consistent, and his stats proved that he was a great running back, but he was never somebody who I'm like, oh, Joe Mixon's not playing. Bengals are out of this game. Like, that was never my thought process. Where if Derrick Henry didn't play for the Titans, I'm like, okay, I'm betting on the other team.
I think they have they had a rookie last year who I thought did pretty well. I think his last name Brown. I can't remember.
They lost Tyler Boyd, right?
Yeah.
They lost Tyler Boyd, and Tyler Boyd's going to go, and he was underrated. He's going to go.
The Titans.
Yeah, I know. And
I wanted the Jets
Calvin
to sign
Ridley,
him so bad.
Tyler Boyd, Calvin Ridley.
So bad.
Tyler Boyd, Calvin Ridley, and they also have that guy who's like a 2nd or 3rd year player, Treylon Burks. He played at Arkansas, SEC. He's good. A D-Hop. Like, their team's not as bad. Tajay Spears, I think, is the running back, right?
Yeah, now
he's not horrible. I mean, they might make some noise because that division is fucking easy to make noise in.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's the worst division.
Yeah, it's the worst division in football.
We'll go to like one of the more controversial ones is the NFC East is the first one that's on here.
Okay.
It's got to be because of the Cowboys and Eagles, but who's going to be the over or under performer of that division, you think?
It's hard to say because I think it's very, very difficult to say. I'll start off by saying I think Cowboys win the division.
Oh wow!
I think Cowboys win the division. I'm not an Eagles guy.
That shocks me a little bit.
I'm not. I mean, like I think Saquon's a huge signing for them.
You have a soft spot for the Cowboys.
Yeah, I do. I have a lot of Cowboy predictions to talk about too. But I do think overall, I just don't believe in Jalen. I think if you swap quarterbacks, Eagles win the division. I'm not a Jalen Hurts guy. I mean, like, I was in college. You were the first person to know that. I was a huge Jalen Hurts guy when he played at Oklahoma, like when he transferred from Bama.
Yeah, you thought big mistake by Saban there to get rid of him.
Yeah, I did. And then he had a great year in Oklahoma. Like, he played unbelievable. I think he's better than Tua. I think Tua stinks.
The problem is, like you said, the Eagles get Saquon. I think they shored up some people on the defensive side. They drafted 2 cornerbacks. It's just the Cowboys did nothing, and now they go
But the Cowboys, just defense in general,
they lose Pollard.
They lose Pollard, yeah.
They bring back Zeke, but I guess you know what, their offense, no setbacks.
They lost
Smith,
Michael Gallup, right? Or did they re-sign him?
No, he's gone.
He's gone.
Yeah, they lost Smith to the Jets. They're the tackle, but
Yeah.
he only played about 10 games anyway every year.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a Cowboys guy. I think the Cowboys are going to play good in the regular season, and they're always going to disappoint everybody.
Like their mark is 10.5 wins. Do you think they get to 11?
Yeah, I do.
And 11 probably at least ties the Eagles. I'm not sure.
I think the team that's going to overperform is the Commanders.
This shocks me here. I know, like, whatever, don't want to bring in too much betting odds, but the Giants plus 1,800 to win the division. The Commanders plus 800. Are they saying that there's that big of a difference between the? That's saying the Commanders are like significantally better than the Giants.
I think they are. Dude, they signed Austin Eckler.
That's like a significant difference, though. Yeah, you're right. Eckler,
but they signed Austin Eckler.
Scary Terry.
Terry McLaurin's very underrated.
Curtis Hamler's gone.
Jaden Daniels is gonna be good, dude. Like he's gonna be good. Like he's gonna be good. In my opinion, I think he's gonna be good. And I just think that they're gonna, dude. I don't know. I think they're gonna be. I think they're gonna be all right. Didn't they sign? They signed Dan Quinn, defensive coordinator.
Oh, you're right.
Fucking legit, which is gonna hurt the Cowboys, and it's gonna really help fucking Washington. And
forgot about that.
Yeah, I honestly, I think the Commanders. I think Jaden Daniels is gonna outperform. I think Jaden Daniels could be. I don't want to go as far as to do apples to apples comparison, but I think he's going to be kind of like a CJ Stroud. Like, I don't think he's going to be
like
as
that.
good, but I think he's going to be a guy who comes in,
throws over
people are kind of like,
yards.
he's not that good, and then he's going to surprise people. So I think he's going to surprise people with his feet. Dude, the guy ran like a 4.3 40. He's going to surprise people with his feet. He can sling the rock. He beat a bunch of Joe Burrow's records at LSU.
Yeah.
Now he's got a great check down in Austin Eckler, probably one of the best check down running backs in football.
Yeah.
Scary Terry is very, very underrated. I mean, he just literally had 1,000 quarterbacks throwing him the football.
Yeah.
So
he's
I
like
think
that kind of.
they signed Zach Ertz, which I know is not. We're not going out on a limb here, but Zach Ertz is a reliable guy. I mean, he's a veteran. He's been in the NFL. He's shown glimpses of being really good at tight end.
Oh yeah.
I think that the Commanders are going to outperform. That's my final verdict. Is that the Commanders will outperform.
This one we'll do AFC South now. Texans, Jags, Colts, Titans. Who's going to surprise? Who's going to upset, you think?
I think the Jags are going to disappoint people just because I think they've kind of been on the cusp of being like a really good football team. And they just, I feel like, are
they have no identity.
They're just battling their fucking hearts out to be like pretty good.
To be mediocre.
Yeah. And I just don't really, and they're in an easy division. Like with Trevor Lawrence, with all the hype around him, he has a lot to prove this year. I mean, he was supposed to be the next coming of Jesus Christ, and he's just okay. They signed Gabe Davis, which will help. Christian Kirk is underrated because everyone dogged him for getting that $22 million contract.
I think getting rid of Calvin Ridley was a blessing. He dropped so many balls that it was like sickening.
Yeah. Yep. Travis Etienne is good.
And Evan Ingram.
Is definitely good. Evan Ingram's good. Like, listen, their team is not bad.
Evan Ingram had 100 catches last year as tight end.
Yeah,
think of how insane that is.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm
not worried about their offense at all. It's the defensive side that
the division is so weird. Like, I have no idea who the Colts are because I have no idea who Anthony Richardson is.
I want to say that he's good. I mean, I don't know. Like last year, they played the Texans, and they beat the piss out of the Texans.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you can get him and Michael Pittman Jr., and they still have a good defense, a solid O-line, if he just stays healthy, I mean, I think they can like morph into that Bills of this AFC South kind of thing, where they can just run the ball down your throat 1,000 times a game.
Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson together,
and you're not going to stop them.
Will be dangerous. Yep,
the guy's a freak athlete, but like you said, the division's so weird. I I don't know who's gonna overperform, underperform. The Colts are like 8.5 wins.
Oh my God.
The Titans, I think, are 6.5.
Titans are going to overperform then. I would take the Titans because I feel more confident in the Titans getting 7 wins than I do the Colts getting 9.
They bulked up their team, like you said. You got Boyd, Ridley, who I
Boyd-
don't really like, but whatever, and Hopkins.
Yeah, but if Ridley's going to play what? He's going to play slot because Boyd and D-Hop are playing the outsides.
I don't know, because Boyd's kind of been that slot
Boyd's
guy
huge.
in Cincinnati. He was, because you had Higgins.
Yeah, but you're talking about T. Higgins is a huge is a big body too. Jamar Chase probably one of the best
Chase,
outsiders.
Yeah. So he had Boyd in that, and he was still catching 1,000.
I think Ridley
years,
fits
you
the
know?
build of a. I think Ridley fits the build of a slot guy more than Boyd does, and I
Maybe
think
too much pressure on Ridley to be the number.
I say the Titans
year.
overperform because I think everyone's counting them out. I
Yeah.
don't think they have a ton of. I don't think they have a lot of. I think they have enough talent to win 7 football games. I don't know if they're gonna, but their division's dog shit.
Low
so.
hanging fruit is like Jags underperform. Their win total is 8.5. I don't know.
I don't know anything about the division. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know what to think. Like any one of those 3 teams could win the division, and I'd be like, I could see that.
I know.
You know?
The AFC South every year is just
Yeah.
Well, NFC South, our boy Baker.
Baker, yeah.
What do you think about? I mean, I'm just gonna say it off the rip. Carolina.
What are the over-unders for the teams?
Everyone is 8.5. Falcons are 9.5. Panthers are 5.5. I don't think the Panthers get 6 wins. I don't see who they've added on that team to get them.
They added who's that guy from the Steelers? They added Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
He's not great. I mean, he's good.
No,
he's good. He's good. He's good. He's good.
Like,
him and Adam Thielen are good enough where they can annoy you, but they don't.
they got rid of Burns,
Yeah, Burns went to the Giants,
and
right?
he's nasty. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I liked Bryce Young in college too, but I just can't see, because the Saints defense is good, the Bucks defense is good, and now the Falcons offense, who going into the year, if Kirk Cousins wasn't there, I'd say, you know what, maybe
Kirk Cousins is the best signing of the offseason.
They'd be like, maybe the Panthers could, if it was Desmond Ridder, maybe the Panthers could split with the Falcons in games. But this year, now that Kirk's there,
It's obviously Falcons Saints, right? I mean, that's just like
or Tampa Bay,
I know, but
because they re-signed everybody.
yeah, they signed Levante David.
Yeah,
They signed
all their defensive
Mike
players.
Evans. They
Mike
signed
Evans
back.
is back. Is it Rashad White, the running back? Mm-hmm. He's good. And I just like Baker.
I like Baker
you know
too.
what?
You're taking Tampa.
I don't know, because the Falcons are only 9.5, but I don't know.
Falcons.
It's one of those
should
things.
win
Is
football
Kirk
games.
is Kirk going to get a lot of primetime games?
I'm gonna take the Saints. I'm gonna take the Saints to win the division. I've always been a Derek Carr guy.
I'm sticking with Panthers underperforming.
Yeah,
I'm not going to mess with.
I'm gonna take the Saints overperform because I think, even though I think Kirk Cousins is the best offseason signing,
Yeah. There's so many weapons there because they have they have Mooney now too in Atlanta, and obviously they have.
I think
Drake.
Chris Olave's overlooked.
Yeah.
I think that who's that other guy they play on the outside? He's like a burner for the Saints. He plays the outside.
Oh my goodness! Didn't they
Rashid Sahid,
Yeah,
like something like something
Rashid.
crazy. He could burn. He's
like number 22 or something.
yeah.
like weird.
He's.
Yeah.
I like the Saints. I just like the Saints defense. I like that they play in a dome.
Derek Carr.
I love Derek
Let's
Carr.
call it. This is like your
I love Derek
division
Carr.
of people who you have soft spots for.
Yeah.
You love Derek Carr and you love Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, and I'm a big Kirk Cousins guy too. So I like that division, but like it's almost as sloppy as the South. Yeah. You know what I mean?
All right, going into the next one, and I'm just gonna say this: we're big Jet fans, so
yeah.
AFC East. I'm gonna say the Bills underperform. I think like losing Gabe Davis and losing Diggs, and I know every Bills fan is just gonna sit there and tell me team played better without Diggs. I understand maybe they had a better winning record, but like now that neither of them are there, Curtis Samuel's not going to fill that void that both those Gabe and
what's that guy, the new guy, Coleman?
Like those guys, they're not going to fill that void. Now you're going to see when people start stacking the box against Josh Allen, making him throw, and I love Josh Allen, but he had 17, 18 picks last year when Diggs and Gabe Davis were there.
Yeah.
What do you think he's going to have now when he's, maybe not getting bailed out as much? I love Kincaid and I love Josh Allen, but I mean, it's like once again, it's low hanging fruit. Do they get to 11 wins?
No.
I don't see how.
No. Jets are the best team in that division. I mean, the Jets are the best team in that division. Just on
Healthy
paper,
Jets,
but
100%.
they have so many liabilities injury-wise. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, injury liability. Breece Hall, injury liability. Mike Williams, injury liability. Tyron Smith, injury liability. All these guys. AVT, injury liability.
They're the Clippers of the NFL. It's like, hey, and if Kawhi's healthy, they're great. But like,
if the Jets stay healthy, I mean, it's a no-brainer. They're one of the best teams in football, not even in the division. But if they don't stay healthy, which very possible that they don't. I mean, I don't even like.
They're injury prone all over offense. Now. I mean, like Breece Hall had the freak ACL tear, you know, but it seemed like he bounced back fine. Mike Williams spends every other year missing games.
Every other week.
Yeah, so it's like, you know, Lazard kind of can't catch anymore. I don't know what he's doing. They have a good the rookie that they drafted, but I that supposedly will probably take over that third spot. Tyler Conklin. I love Tyler Conklin. He's the man. If they're healthy, like you said, I mean,
if they're healthy, they're one of the best teams in football. And not
Dolphins,
to mention,
you can't trust in December. I think Tua's kind of soft once it gets a little cold.
Tua stinks. Tua's the biggest problem on that fucking team. He's horrible.
You saw it at the end of the year last year when he just threw away some games. You know?
He's terrible. I mean, I watched the guy miss Tyreek Hill for a wide open 80-yard touchdown once a week minimum. The guy's
so we're both on board. Jets overperform.
Yeah. Jets
I think
overperform.
Their win total's 9.5.
Not to mention, the Raiders get a slow start. Devontae Adams is a Jet. Like Devontae Adams is a Jet. If the Raiders are, I don't know. The Raiders start off the season 0-2. We might see them before September ends.
Well, and going in, because our next division we go over now is the West, is like thinking of the Raiders. I mean, how many games before you pull the plug and put in Gardner Minshew, and he just throws the ball to Devontae Adams every time?
Yeah.
Because that's something like what he did for the Colts last year. Michael Pittman Jr. had a great year.
Yeah.
He comes in. I don't see how he doesn't start. I mean, they're paying him 2 years, $28 million? It's like Gardner Minshew.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, Aiden O'Connell, I think that'll be a fucking quarterback battle for the job, but who fucking cares who wins it? I mean, Devontae Adams is going to be a New York Jet before November.
Yeah. I mean, if he makes enough stink, right? Like, that's... But I feel like they're in like a lucky kind of.
I'm staying away from Garrett Wilson's over yards and touchdowns because I think Devontae Adams is going to be a New York Jet. That's how confident I am that he will be a New York Jet prior to.
The only saving grace is like the Raiders. I think their division's not good. You know, like say what you want. Like I love Justin Herbert. I do.
Yeah.
When he had Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. They were only a 500 team.
Yeah.
And now they lose all their weapons. You know, they add Ladd McConkey at the draft, and that's probably his best weapon when, coming into this year. Palmer.
Yeah.
I know they drafted the tackle from Notre
They got
Dame.
rid of Austin Eckler.
I just,
but I still think
it's like not. I feel like the Raiders, like if you throw, like they could beat them on. Because they don't have any home field advantage either. Like, they could honestly beat them.
Yeah.
So, like you said, I know Devontae Adams, we kind of have all, chalked up as a Jet. And eventually it will happen. Just, do they get a little stubborn in trading everyone because they're so used to having their hands forced all the time?
Yeah. I think the Jets stay healthy. And the Raiders just be the Raiders. Devontae Adams is a Jet. That's what I think. And I think that it's two big what ifs, because Pierce, as the coach for the Raiders, he rallied them together and got them a few wins that nobody saw coming. And let's be honest, everybody on the Jets could drop tomorrow and it wouldn't shock me.
No.
I mean, like
if I told you by week 4, Mike Williams, Smith are missing games and Aaron Rodgers' ankle's a little banged up.
Yeah, that's 100% possible. It's 100% possible. All right, so fuck it. Let's get into some player props.
Yeah, let's switch it up a little bit. Oh, wait, one more division. I know you. I got it because I feel like you've been hinting at this all week. It's the NFC North and your love for Jordan Love. What do you think about them signing him?
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, Jordan Love is obviously he played good, and I have a biased opinion to not liking him because I bet heavy on the Cowboys and they beat the fucking piss out of him.
That's the real backstory.
But yeah, no. That's for sure a big part of it. But I don't think he's as good as ever. Dude, the guy played half a season, right?
Yeah.
He played half a season and he played good. He played really good and he put his team in a position to win football games and he beat the shit out of the fucking Cowboys. Like he did what he was supposed to do. So I'm not taking that away from him as much as I am just like everyone's got to relax a little bit because when Brock Purdy came in and did the exact same thing and then it was, it's his supporting cast. Oh, it's this, it's that. And I was definitely could have been one of those guys. But then he comes in and the next year he brings his team to the Super Bowl. And I don't know. And it's just like Jordan Love does it for half a season. They're going to drop fucking close to $60 million a year on the guy. I mean,
we grew up, like the Ravens wouldn't sign Joe Flacco because he wasn't a top four quarterback, right? He was outside the Peyton, the Breeze, the Brady. They're like, we're not going to pay you like one of those guys until you like prove it.
Yeah.
Goes out, wins, and then gets paid. And that's how it's always been us growing up. Is like you don't pay for what you could do. You get paid for what you've done. And now like that has totally flipped in the last couple of years where it's like the same thing with Tua. What has Tua done?
Jesus Christ. I mean, I can't even.
It makes me happy as a Jets fan that they locked him down for a couple years. But, it's like these guys are getting paid.
But I think Jordan Love is in the same boat as Tua.
I think he's definitely better than Tua.
But I think they're in the same ballpark. I mean, I don't know.
Because he at least showed up in the big games.
I think Jordan Love is on the same playing. Like, I'm not saying he's terrible. I think he falls under the Brock Purdy, the Tua, that's where I think he falls in the talent pool. Like, when you're you're paying a guy, I mean, I get it. Quarterback contracts have gone up drastically. Yeah. So it's either pay him or lose him. And you don't want to lose a guy like Jordan Love and have him go somewhere else and be fantastic. So I understand all that.
I'm fine losing Tua. Wouldn't be as fine losing Love. And I know we've seen more out of Tua besides the concussion thing. One more concussion, he's done. It's like, but
where's Jordan Love? If he's getting paid where he's getting paid, like if he's getting paid what he's getting paid, which I understand you can't just correlate it with where they rank in the top 10, like top QBR, 15. You can't do all that. But to put it to put a different light on it, where is Jordan Love for you? Like if you're ranking quarterbacks, is he a top 10 quarterback? Is he a top 15 quarterback?
There's so many like
I think Jordan Love is not a top 15 quarterback.
All right, well, we'll go down the list. I'll give you some names. You say yes or no. Like, yes, he's better. No, he's not. And I'm, Mahomes, no. C.J. Stroud?
No. Stop.
Goff?
No.
All right, Burrow?
No.
Kirk Cousins? Shows up in primetime games. I'm going to say yes to Kirk. Josh Allen?
No.
Rodgers, healthy Rodgers?
No.
Stafford?
No.
Man.
Not Lamar.
Not Lamar. Yeah, I mean, you could really start.
Jordan Love is Trevor Lawrence. Jordan Love is, I mean, like, come on, like, it's crazy. We're getting crazy. Like, Jordan Love is not a top 10 quarterback. That's a guarantee.
He might be 10 on the dime or 11.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Oh, so one's Mahomes, two's Lamar, maybe. I mean, it's all subjective.
We start getting into the weeds here. Like, is he better than Kyler Murray?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but some people might say.
Yeah, that's fine. If that's your argument, I'm not going to fucking die in a hill.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But no, I don't think so. No.
A lot of people outside of the Mahomes, the Josh Allens, outside of those two, I mean, I guess you could say Joe Burrow too. Outside of like those three, you start to like the pack starts to just kind of become one merge together of who's better than who.
Yes,
you can argue Herbert.
Yes. Herbert's way better than Jordan
I'm
Love.
saying like you can argue Herbert and Stroud, right? Like who's better?
Yeah.
There's just so many. There's like too many arguments to be made.
Jordan Love is the only argument I can say is he's not top 10. Not. Period. The end. He's not top 10. If you wanted to say top 15, maybe he gets the 15th spot.
I'm saying
and he's battling to the fucking death with Kirk Cousins for it.
I'm taking him over Kirk. Just because Kirk in primetime games. I watched Kirk Cousins against the New York Giants on 4th and 8 to end the season throw a check down to his tight end who was double covered. to end the season. I mean, that's just like watching
Kirk
a guy
Cousins,
do it in the playoffs.
But Kirk Cousins is a guy who got paid off a big moment.
Yeah.
Right? He's a guy who got paid off a big moment, so he's very similar to Jordan Love. Like, he got paid off you like that? You like that? Like,
Same amount of playoff wins.
But I know. But okay. Yes, but he continued to perform at a high level season in, season out. So we haven't seen Jordan Love do that, and maybe he will do that, and maybe he'll prove me wrong.
It's the what you've done versus what you could do.
But Kirk Cousins is not a guy who got paid off a big moment and then collapsed and fell into the abyss. He's just a guy who gets overlooked. I mean,
I would have liked to see one more year of Love.
Yeah,
doing what he do.
What the fuck? Absolutely, dude. Absolutely.
And it's like they make the argument. Oh well, we rewarded him for sitting behind Rodgers. Well, he didn't have a choice.
Yeah, like what are we talking about?
Like he didn't have a choice. What were you gonna do? Trade him? Like no. That's why you draft quarterbacks there, so you don't have to pay him. He has a few good games, and now he's got you by the balls.
Dude, I would
let him sit. Any player who just like does this stuff with the contracts drives me nuts. I would let him sit.
Jordan Love is a tough one for me, because even when I watched him play in the Dallas game, I know it's going to be, oh, you're a hater, but dude, there was nobody on the fucking screen, dude. This guy was throwing balls to people who were wide open, dude. Nobody within 20 fucking yards.
Bad job by your boy Dan Quinn there.
They were wide open, dude. Like I was stunned. I was losing my fucking mind. So it's not like this guy's out here fucking threading the needle in double coverage in these huge moments. Like, the guy played like okay football. Like,
he throws a lot off his back foot.
Yeah.
Because those guys who have the arm talent.
Dude, and the Bears, they laid down to get in the playoffs. Like they wanted to. I thought the Bears were going to win that final game and knock the Packers out of the playoffs. And I thought Jordan Love was going to – Jordan Love. I thought Justin Fields was going to play out of his mind, right?
He didn't have a chance.
I bet the Bears – they didn't even let him. They literally purposely handed the ball off 40 fucking times just so that they could feel comfortable with taking Caleb Williams, because they thought if he went out there and put on a fucking fireworks show, they were going to have a lot harder of a time taking Caleb Williams, because their fans would have been like, maybe this is what Justin Fields is going to be.
I didn't even think of that angle.
Jordan Love got propped up on this pedestal for like winning this must-win game when the fucking Bears gave it to him so they could feel confident about taking Caleb Williams. And then obviously he fucking doubled down and beat the shit out of the Cowboys. So I got to tone it down a little bit. He beat the shit out of the Cowboys for sure, but he's not a $55 million a year guy. Well, Don put it to you that way. He's not.
Mahomes has become the best value quarterback.
I know.
So
remember, people dogging the Cowboys for paying Dak $40 million a year. Dogging him.
Now it's a steal.
Dogging him, dude. Dak Prescott is so much better than Jordan Love, and he gets no credit. Everyone says he's not even top 10. He's without question top 10. Dak.
His numbers are crazy.
Yeah.
Listen, I know he threw the bad pick six against the Packers there in the playoffs, and it was a terrible one. But he's not the reason they lost that game. When your defense of the Cowboys is just giving up 15 yards a clip.
I know.
With
and let's be honest, the worst time management ever by a head coach of all fucking time. I mean, the guy refuses to call timeouts. Refuses.
I know.
Like, he will let that fucking clock run. Like, I mean, remember that debacle where they couldn't even get a playoff? They're like, Dak's like fucking tripping over the referee to get to the ball, and they couldn't even get a fucking spike off. And McCarthy's ending the game with timeouts. I mean, he's fucking horrible.
Their best going forward. They're not gonna do shit with McCarthy this year as head coach. But I feel like he's a good. Dak had his best statistical year with him as calling plays. If it's like, is Belichick waiting for that job to come up? Because the talent's there, the defense is there. You bring someone in just to call plays, and you let him run it.
He can't. Him and Jerry Jones cannot be in the same organization. There's no way.
I feel like that's like their only path that they have left. Because
Mike McCarthy is Joe Biden, okay? He's a fucking puppet that needs to be propped up and be told what to do, right? Yeah. So Jerry Jones is running the show behind the scenes, and Mike McCarthy is literally just he's just a face to put in front of the podium. Yeah. Jerry Jones is making all the fucking decisions. He's making all the calls, and he likes the fact that fucking Mike McCarthy just says yes to whatever the fuck he says.
I know.
So he gets Bill Belichick in there. That ain't happening.
Because he gets to die on the hill for Jerry Jones.
Yeah, it's just like oh, when the Cowboys play shitty, fucking we might have to clean house.
Yeah, these guys when they play great, get rings. Like, he gets a ring because of Aaron Rodgers,
and
then he gets put on this. Yeah. It's the same thing with Sean Payton and why I think the Broncos are going to be terrible. Why is Sean Payton a good coach? They went 9-7 every year with Drew Brees in the easiest division on earth.
I know.
Drew Brees
he
was
made
throwing
a career on that onside kick in the Super Bowl. Yeah.
He made a career riding the coattails of Drew Brees to going 9-7 every year or whatever. And now it's the same thing.
But I liked those Saints teams though.
Oh, everyone does because you love Drew
the
Brees.
Bounty Gate, Jonathan Vilma out here headhunting. I love that
because you got Rob Ryan in there. And
I know,
but none of it was because of Sean Payton. I mean, it's
yeah. No, I can agree a little bit. I like
I
Sean
sit
Payton,
here and I listen to all these things and talk about how good the Broncos are going to be. They're going to suck. Bo Nix is terrible. He's been in college for 7 years. Like, it's time to go to the NFL here.
What's with the Broncos and always taking those guys? Like, remember Tim Tebow won a playoff game.
Brock Osweiler's of the world, and they sell you so good on it because, like, John Elway in '96 had, like, a little good run here with Terrell Davis. It's like,
I know.
You know what? Like, Sean Payton ran Russ out of town. He wasn't the problem. Like,
No. Russell
Payton.
Wilson was not the problem. Dude. That was definitely not the problem. 100%. I agree. I think
the
Russell
defense
Wilson,
that went from like number 2 in the league to number 25.
Yeah.
There's your problem. And
Yeah.
it's like, whatever.
and they benched him due to he wouldn't take the injury clause out of his contract, so they benched Russ.
But they sprung it on him in a bye week.
Yeah, what the fuck is he gonna do? Of course I'm not taking that out. You fucking kidding me? Absolutely not.
You'd have to be an idiot.
Yeah,
So
you'd have to be an idiot.
what I gather from this is your worst signing is Jordan Love.
No. I wouldn't say that. Because listen, it's such a subjective. The topic is a touchy one because do I agree with thinking Jordan Love has the capabilities of being a good starter in the NFL? I do. And what's the number? I'm not in these offices. I'm not making these decisions, right? So it's like I don't know what the number is to keep him because you can't let him walk. I understand that. Like your dilemma is either pay. Like it's almost like Dak in present time. Like everyone called them fucking crazy when they paid him $40 million, and now they look good. So could this contract age like the Dak contract? I do. I think it could. But right now in this day and age, I just don't think Jordan Love did enough. I think if he wants to be a Packer, he likes the organization he's in. Like he should have no problem going out there and proving it. And like I would have almost. You don't want to lose him, but I would have almost been like, listen, if you're this adamant about a contract, like you need to go out there and play this year. Like you need to go out there and do it. And then if you wind up having to spend more money on him, let's just say the contract got crazy and it turned into a bidding war and now you're spending $63 million a year because he's that good, then fuck it. You're spending an extra $6, $7, $8 million a year on your quarterback, which I would have much rather have done that and then felt 100% confident that, yes, I'm overpaying, but I'm overpaying for the fucking guy. Now you're overpaying for a guy you think
hope
is the guy. Yeah, like I don't know.
I mean, just put it in perspective, right? It's like
I don't think he's the worst signing.
This is his first real starting year, and he had 6 good games.
I know. Like,
imagine if, like, when Baker came out and he had that killer first year. It's like him getting paid off that first year.
It would be like Brock getting extended.
Yeah.
Like, Brock came in and did everything. Dude, Brock right now I think has... I'm not even joking. I think that there's an official stat that Brock Purdy has the highest QBR rating of all time.
Yeah, I think PFF has like ranked 1 or 2.
It's like he's good. He's good, but like I think that the Niners did it the right way. Like we're keeping this guy on his rookie deal. Like we're gonna make him continue to prove it, and then when the time comes, if he gets shopped around and other team we have to bid for him, we'll bid for him. Like that's how it should have been. I don't think they should have jumped the gun.
These franchises could always do the franchise tag too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's like, I think you're right. You go out there and you tell them you're getting paid what you're getting paid this year, which is still a lot of money.
Yeah, like shut the fuck up and go play football, man.
Why don't you let it? Yeah, go play while like you're.
Hey, no knock to Jordan Love at all. Like Jordan Love, hey,
good for
power
him.
to you, dude. You went out and played 6 games, got $55 fucking million a year. You're the fucking man. Yeah. But do I think you're worth $55 million a year? I guess this season time will tell, right? Yeah. I don't even think they win the division. Paying a guy $55 million a year to play second.
You pay a guy $55 million, like you better finish first.
Dude, they're going to pay this guy $55 million a year, and they're going to be in a serious hunt for the wild card. because like you're going to have teams like the Dallas or Eagles, whoever flip-flops, they're going to be in the hunt. You're going to have a lot of these
Lions,
teams.
I mean, the Bears are supposed to take another step forward. So
No, I mean, I think the Lions are going to win the division. I think Dan Campbell's fucking horrible, but I think that they're going to win the division.
I saw a funny tweet today. It was like, say something that's like, people would, knock you for. It's like Dan Campbell's just a cheerleader.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, the guy went for 2 to win the game, got a penalty, got knocked back 10 yards against Dallas, and still goes for 2. It wasn't even fucking close. That was terrible. I've never seen a guy with such a talented team and such a football guy, dude. Like, he's a guy, you run through a brick wall for that fucking guy.
Completely blew the 49er game, which will go down in history. It's like, you know what? The Lions played well against 49ers. Well, they should have won against 49ers.
100%.
I understand, like, you want to go for it on 4th down, but when you're up 10 points, you don't really take that chance.
The guy went 0-16. We played on the 0-16 Lions. The guy'd kill his mother for a win. So that's why he's doing what he's doing. But I disagree with all of his coaching tactics outside of the fact that he's a football guy. Like,
that's what you love about him.
Run through a brick wall for the guy. I'm sure his players would run through a brick wall for him. But like, dude, we're playing in a situation where you are pretty clear cut a top 5 football team. Like, you're a top 5 football team. Like, you need to start coaching like you have a top 5 football team.
Like, your team's supposed to win 11 games.
You're
coaching. Supposed to win your division.
You're not coaching for the last wild card spot. You're not coaching. Like, you should be coaching that football team as if you were coaching a top 5 football team. Like, play to win. Like, don't kick the extra point. Go to overtime. Your team is better. Yeah. Win the fucking game. Like out coach the other team. Outplay the other team. Don't fucking. You go for 2 for a win when you think the other team's better. That's when you go for 2.
In the playoffs, you're not just a sad Cinderella story.
I know.
You're beating the 49ers by multiple possessions.
Yeah.
You don't need to go for it.
I know.
You're not going to score every drive.
Yeah, that was
like
Dan Campbell is a no-go in my opinion. I like what he's done with the Lions, obviously, but I don't think he had much to do with it outside of just getting the guys fired up.
Detroit loves him. So.
Yeah, Detroit loves him. Hey, whatever. I mean,
honestly,
I think Roberts. I'm speaking from a Jets perspective. I think Robert Saleh is a lesser version of Dan Campbell. I mean, he doesn't go for it. Doesn't make his bad decisions, but I think he's more of a football guy than he is an X's and O's guy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's more of like a knock around. I'm one of the boys, and he doesn't really make.
Well, let's call it what
decisions.
it is. Most of these like defensive coaches, they're more like just football guys.
Yeah. 100%.
If you don't have the talent, you're not going to be a good defensive coordinator.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. All
right, let's go. Worst signing.
Worst signing. It's so hard because a lot of these guys could turn to be okay, but like I think Josh Jacobs getting signed to the Packers. I'll stick with the Packers. I just don't think it was Jordan Love. I think that paying so you let Aaron Jones go, right? Who knows the offense? Who's played great in that offense, and who's been a crutch for Aaron Rodgers for how many years? Like, he's a good 1-2 punch with AJ Dillon, even though I'm not a huge AJ Dillon guy, but he was a good counterpart to AJ Dillon.
Yeah,
and they let him go to let the Vikings go and pay him a 1-year, $7 million deal. Right? Or somewhere close to that. I feel
bad for running back.
Somewhere close to that. Then they turn around and pay Josh Jacobs 4 years, $50 million, $48 million, and with like a $13 million signing bonus, $12 million signing bonus, something like that. And it's like Josh Jacobs is basically a very similar running back to AJ Dillon. I mean, obviously he's better, but it's
he was just a heavy used back, Josh Jacobs.
Like, you're going to go and you're going to pay $5-6 million a year more for Josh Jacobs. Like, wouldn't you, like, your team is already in like a pretty much a win now scenario. So why not pay Aaron Jones, the guy who already knows your system, who's already a good 1-2 punch with AJ Dillon, pay him the 1 year, $7 million, and then go out and fill other positions. Like,
Josh Jacobs last year, I know
800 yards,
3.5 yards per carry.
What was he? 805, 812, 805 rushing yards. So the guy's got 805 rushing yards. I know he led the league the year before, but in my opinion, that is the worst signing.
Well, here's what happened.
Because of what you let go. You let go a guy who's probably in the same talent pool who plays a better counterpart to AJ Dillon for less money.
I feel like they didn't, and this seems weird because the Flores offense is good, but I feel like they still didn't use him like they should have. They put in AJ Dillon way too much.
Yeah, he's
way too much. And he is horrendous.
Dude, he's
I mean,
like
talk about 3 yards, 3 yards a carry. I mean, that's AJ Dillon.
AJ Dillon's like who is the guy who is the guy for the Panthers? Fat boy who just came in and fucking punched it in. Michael Turner or something?
I know who you're talking about.
Just like that's who AJ Dillon is. He's just like he looks like big. They're like, oh, they're going up the middle with this one. Like this, he comes into the game on the
2
goal line
yards in a
scenarios.
cloud of dust.
But I like short yardage, bigger backs. Like it keeps the smaller guys whatever. But now what? Now you're telling me you signed Josh Jacobs. You're taking Josh Jacobs out on the goal line, or are you keeping him? I understand taking Aaron Jones out on the goal line and then putting him down in a third down passing situation.
I'll tell you this, Aaron Jones.
Josh Jacobs ain't catching the ball out of the backfield either. Let's be clear.
Career-wise, Aaron Jones, 5 yards per carry, career. So that's almost a full yard per carry more than Josh Jacobs.
Dude,
last year, averaged 4.6, just going to get the touches. I know he was hurt, but
you're
talking about a back out of a backfield who can actually catch.
Yes.
Aaron Jones.
That's my worst signing. That's my worst signing of the offseason.
I have my total hater as Calvin Ridley, can't catch. And you're going to pay that guy that much money to be like a third best wide receiver on a team?
Yeah.
And as my best, I had Derrick Henry because
that's a good
one.
one.
The Ravens for so long have been missing a healthy running back.
I mean, that 1-2 punch is borderline unstoppable because now you're going to have the defense have to stack the middle, right? And you're going to have to protect the middle because that up the gut run on a short third and short, and now you're opening up the outside for if Lamar decides to take that on his own, forget about it.
I know you love Gus Edwards and he's gone, but I mean, you replace those guys with Derrick Henry.
Oh, it's night and day. I mean, dude, I was just a Gus Edwards guy, meaning like.
Fantasy.
Just meaning like he's not bad. But like, dude, Derrick Henry, you're stacking the center, and then you have Lamar. He's going to take those end arounds. How many times is Lamar Jackson going to take an end around for 30, 40, 50 yards, maybe even to the house? And
that's all they have to focus on in the playoffs is just do that.
Yeah, no, they're going to run like a high school offense, dude.
It's going to be great. I want to see some Navy, like wing tee type of stuff. All right.
I'll give you my best. My best is pretty simple. It's pretty boring. Kirk Cousins.
You love Kirk Cousins.
I mean, dude, Desmond Ritter. Desmond Ritter would have a hard time plugging and playing and winning for Menacing Valley High School tomorrow, like next week. Desmond Ritter is fucking horrific. So, and that team is good. Bijan Robinson is good.
Yeah,
the Atlanta Falcons is good. Yeah. Like the Atlanta Falcons are good, and Kirk Cousins is going to help them win a lot of football games. So, yeah, that's my best one. But we can move on.
I know who you're going to pick for this, but we'll explain why. Who do you think is going to be the best rookie player this year?
The best rookie player? I mean, like
wide receiver, quarterback, any of them.
It's very hard because I do think there's a lot of talent, and maybe some people don't think that. I think that Caleb Williams is obviously set up for the success. He's got DJ Moore, he's got Keenan Allen. Even DeAndre Swift, who I'm not huge on.
He has the advantage of a team that was like a 500 team who got to pick first.
He's a plug and play. Like, he's a plug and play guy who should immediately show results for Chicago.
Yeah.
But I personally think that people are overlooking Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels is going to play extremely well. And the only reason I say that people are overlooking him is based on his player props for the year. Like, his over-under pass yards, 3,025. His over-under passing touchdowns, 16.5. Like, come on. This guy is like, I watched Bryce Young play probably the worst overall season from a quarterback because they literally had nowhere else to turn. Yeah, like, he had to stay in, so they didn't bench him. He played the entire season and threw for 2,900 yards.
Oh, I mean,
you're telling me Jaden Daniels isn't throwing for 3,000?
That's a lock.
And Jaden Daniels might fuck around and run for over 500.
I think that's like his over-under. I think
it might fuck around and run for over 500. Austin Eckler is probably one of the best safety net running backs money can buy. Like, as far as like just let's just dump this off and let's get out of this
for
play.
Scary Terry to go like
Scary Terry.
Over 1,300.
I really wanted Brandon Ayuk to go there because I was going to be a big Washington guy.
Don't even get me started.
But he's not. He's not. But yeah, I personally think Jaden Daniels is going to outperform his numbers, or at least what the projections are. I think he's going to outperform them significantly and could kind of shadow what CJ Stroud did coming in. Like, nobody really thought too much of him. He had that shitty Wonderlic score. Remember, everyone thought he was a fucking idiot. And then I was one of them. And then he turns around and shocks the world. I don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to necessarily shock the world, but I think he's going to solidify himself as, wow, this guy is pretty fucking good, and I think he can outperform Caleb Williams.
I have mine as, and I said and mentioned his name earlier. I have Ladd McConkey for the Chargers. I think he's the only one there that Herbert can throw to, and he's going to have a killer year. I mean, I wanted the Jets to draft him so bad.
Yeah.
The way he runs routes, dude. I mean, watching him in college, I know in college everyone's always open, but like this guy's just such a pure route runner.
He's set up for success. I mean, he is set up for success. Justin Herbert can sling the rock with the best of them. He doesn't really have many options. They got the new coach with Jim Harbaugh going there, and I do think that he'll turn it around a little bit because Brandon Staley, what was his name? Brandon Staley?
Yeah, he was
That
awful.
guy was fucking, he's up there with Juan Rivera and fucking Dan Campbell. I mean, he's fucking
I don't know
terrible.
how he kept this job. But
Yeah, he's terrible.
I just feel like, listen, he's got no one really to throw to. I mean, and this guy's ready. He's ready to come in and be like that Julian Edelman type of role. I'm not just saying that because he's white. Yeah, just you see the way he runs routes.
I don't hate that. I don't hate that. I don't know enough about him to give like a solid opinion and be like, no, you're 100% right or oh, you're 100% wrong.
Yeah, listen,
but like,
you go against you just the
I like it.
big
I like
talking
the pick. I like the pick just due to the situation, and I think you have to pick situation more than you pick player, which is I know
what
exactly
you try to do, and which is.
I just don't want to be a cornball saying, Caleb Williams is going to be great because I think everyone's on the Chicago train, and I don't think he's going to be bad.
On the Jaden train, no.
No, nobody's on the Jaden train. That's why I like him because look at his projections. His projections are stupid low, like stupid low, like
for no reason.
Dude, 3,000 yards, bro. I mean,
even if their defense is terrible, that just means he's just going to have to throw.
I know he could run the ball, which could take away from the passing yards, but he's going to throw for more than 3,000 yards. He's going to throw for more than 16 touchdowns. Like,
everyone has to realize now that we get an extra game. Like 3,000 yards back when like Cam Newton did it was a big thing because you have the extra game.
Yeah.
Now you're just asking the guy to go out and throw for 3,000 yards. I mean, think of it. What was there, 17 games? That's 200 yards a game.
Yeah, that's...
If he has one good game of 350, you're
which
already
he's gonna do. He's
just
gonna do,
flying over that number.
Yeah, and then running back projections, I didn't look at too many of them.
I didn't look at any of them because that's like the one...
The only thing I did hear, I don't know, like maybe you could look it up. I think Bijan Robinson, I saw early on this month, was over 6.5 rushing touchdowns. He's going to soar over that.
Oh, if that's the case.
Yeah, he's going to soar over that. He's going to soar over that. I know he's a big receiving guy, but like Desmond Ridder, like put him and Drake London in a fucking, he just locked them away and didn't let them perform. Kirk Cousins is going to open up the offense, and I do think, I mean, I don't know how many opportunities you have at the goal line, but I have to think if you're a good football team, like you're getting at least one or two goal line situations where you're going to have an opportunity to punch the ball in, and I think that Bijan Robinson, as far as athletic talent is concerned, is one of the best athletic talents in all football. So I think he's going to soar past. I don't know what his over-under is, so I don't want to...
Well, last year they misused him. Which is
do you see his over-under?
I'm looking at it right now. It's just loaded. I knew like last year they barely used him on the goal line, which was just criminal.
I know. I'd like to see what Saquon's numbers are.
I think he's like 1,000 rushing yards.
Saquon?
Yeah, I'm not sure on the touchdowns. He's so injury
dependent. I think Saquon is a huge signing for the Eagles, though, because I do look at Saquon and Jalen Hurts. I think Saquon helps Jalen because Jalen doesn't really go through his progressions very well, and Saquon's a great check down as well.
I know.
And Saquon also can run between the tackles. He's a big body guy.
The Eagles are going to be so good, dude.
I just can't get behind Jalen Hurts, man. I think their football team is really good, like talent-wise. I mean, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. I mean, like, offensive line Lane is obviously
Johnson,
good.
Unbelievable. It sucks Kelsey's retired.
Anything else? Anything else on your rundown sheet? Like
a lot, but we've been talking for a while.
Okay,
which is good because then we can continue next week because we don't want to exhaust everything, right? Yeah. Final thoughts. I did want to ask you. We're big golfers here. Who would you rather be this year, Xander or Scottie?
Scottie, for sure.
Really?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's not close.
Majors?
Yeah, but it's not close. I mean, Scottie got fucking arrested. Scottie got arrested and was fucking went viral and then fucks around, wins gold. Like,
I know.
I don't know. I mean, I get it. Xander won 2 majors. Fantastic. Scottie Scheffler's on a fucking on a run for the fucking record books, dude. I mean, Scottie Scheffler dude, he even had like outside help, like Dave Portnoy coming in, making it like national news that he's winning $1 million, putting $1 million on him to win the tournament. Like he
How
had
funny
all this,
is
like,
it of Dave to be like, I'm a foxhole guy, so I'm always riding for my, like, making it seem like Scottie Scheffler's the underdog story.
Yeah, I know. But in fairness to Dave, balls to put that kind of money on a guy to win outright.
Oh, absolutely.
Balls, man. And like Scottie's just had a lot of aura around him, whereas I feel like Xander's a cool guy, but he doesn't have like the same like I don't know, the same pack behind the punch that like Scottie is like. There's nobody who doesn't know what's going on with Scottie Scheffler. A lot of people you ask about Xander Schauffele, and if you know golf, you know golf. Like, but if you don't know golf, if you're just shooting the shit with your buddies at work, people are like, yeah, Xander Schauffele's all right. People are like, Scottie Scheffler's the fucking man. Like, I'd rather be Scottie Scheffler.
Well, it's like Scottie, they just compare to the shark. Yeah, it's like he's sneaking up on you, and you don't even know it. So it's like for him, which I thought of this question to ask you on Thursday and Friday, right? And at the time, Xander was running away with it, and Scottie was like 9 strokes back. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to ask Dylan this question. It's not going to be a good question. Xander's going to have a gold medal, 2 majors, and Scottie's just going to have the 1 major, and that's it. And then he puts on a show Sunday, and it's like the best golf I've ever seen. When he needed to show up, I think he birdies 4 or 5 straight holes.
I know when you look at the pure numbers, Tiger Woods is just running away with things. Like, obviously, pure numbers. Yeah. But, like, the energy feels the same. Like, the energy feels the same. Like, that unbeatable, like, this is the fucking guy. Like, it feels Tiger-esque.
All I wanted from him,
it feels Tiger-esque.
And he finally showed it on Sunday, was after you make one big putt, just give a good, like, fist pump,
he's not Nora guy.
He's not that guy, but
he's not Nora
on
guy.
his last birdie, I think it was on 17, to take the lead by 1, he gave a good, like, let's go, like, after draining, like, a 20-footer.
Yeah.
Which, once he made that, it was like, listen, I know it was to go up by 1, but you can just, the feeling watching it, I know you were golfing on Sunday, but just watching it, and you got to see, like, oh my goodness, he's 1 back with like 6 to play. Like, he's gonna win this thing.
Yeah, like, but aura plays a big part. I get it. Like, like him not having that, like, he just doesn't have that. I don't know, that energy of being like the fucking man. So I guess that can, like, it's kind of like Brock Purdy. Like, the guy's got no aura, but like he just goes out and does what he's supposed to do. And then you look at a guy like Joe Burrow, and it's like, even though he was hurt all last year, like, Joe Burrow's the fucking man. You know, like,
it's like Brock was the annoyingness.
Yeah, like he just doesn't have the same. Like, it's like Phillip Rivers. Like, you know, like I don't know. Like, these guys, I know he was a fiery guy, but certain people just have like that coolness about them.
Just
where,
the boringness.
Yeah, the boring aspect of things. Like, you try to take it out. But it plays such a big part in liking somebody, you know? A lot of people like Joe Burrow, not because he's a great quarterback, but because he shows up to the fucking press conference in Cartier sunglasses and fucking he's got his hair flipped up to the side and he just looks like the fucking man. Yeah,
that's why I like him.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And he's a dog. He's smoking cigars after beating the piss out of Clemson by 40 when they were down 21. You know, like that kind of stuff is cool. Like, dude, he think about it. They were down 21-0, came back and beat the piss out of the fucking Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl.
Our conversation during when he won the national championship. They were down like 28 at halftime.
Yeah.
You're like, maybe Joe B is the guy. And then it's like at the end of the game, comes back and wins. You're like, I knew Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joey B, baby. I got a sick fucking Bengals hat. I'm going to rock it next week. But
one more long shot MVP.
Long shot MVP. I'd have to look at the odds, but I mean, I would have to think that Mahomes and Lamar are up there as 1 and 2. I don't know that, but that would be my that'd be my guess. I would say that I don't even know how much of a long shot it'd be. I would say Dak.
All right, we'll preface this. What is your long shot MVP plus 1,000 odds? Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are the only ones under 1,000.
Okay, Josh, I don't like. I mean, obviously Mahomes is going to be that baseline of, if obviously you're going to go into it thinking that he's going to have the best year. I would say Dak Prescott for me. I think Dak Prescott is
plus 2,000.
Plus 2,000. I like Dak at plus 2,000.
Yeah. I'm going.
He's a stats guy
because Lamar you can get plus 1,600.
Oh, I like Lamar. I like Lamar too.
That seems like a crazy Why
Lamar
isn't he
and
up
Dak,
there with Josh Allen?
I don't know
Patrick
because
Mahomes?
He probably won one. I mean, he just won. He's won 2. he's 1-2. I mean, I like Lamar. I don't hate Lamar as a pick. I just said before even looking at it, I would think that he was 1 or 2.
There's some other names on here. Like, let's say the Falcons just have an incredible run.
CJ Stroud, I could
plus
see
3,000.
putting up a bunch of numbers.
Stroud's plus 1,000. It's just.
Yeah, I could see Stroud being plus 1,000. I don't think he's going to mimic the same kind of ordeal. I think Stephon Diggs is a cancer. I think Dak's my guy. Like if you ask me right now, you have to pick a guy over the 1,000
let's look at
mark.
last year. The last 3 favorites at the end of the year were Lamar, Brock Purdy, and Dak.
Yeah, I'll take Dak.
And now right here, they're like not even top 5. Not even top 6.
Dak Prescott to win MVP. That would be my long shot.
I'm going with Lamar. It's such a square pick, but like you said, they're regular season killer. So
perfect. Let's wrap it up.
I
mean, we've talked for a bunch. We'll get better as the weeks go on. First time doing it, so
it flew by.
Yeah, it flew by.
It was a good time. Shout out to Mike. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, buddy.
We'll talk to you later.